I think one of the most interesting things about being a human, and I think that this is most prevalent in the social and political climate that we live in nowadays, is that we all, or many of us, seem to really want to cling to some kind of sense of identity. No matter what part of you it is, or what part of you that you seek to become, it seems so common that, again, everyone wants to cling, everyone wants to hold tight to a part of themselves. And it seems that the reason that this is done is to give stability, to bring about confidence, to bring about just a strong sense of self. And I hope I'm not coming across as, like this is a wrong thing to do. I mean, what is a person if not their identity? You know what I mean? What can a person possibly be if not for their identity? But I think a key issue a problem comes where we begin to conflate how we are to who we are. And what I think is true a lot of the times is it's not, especially when you're going through hardships or struggles or troubles in life, it's not about who you are, it's more so how you are. Take like a bad habit, for example. Say someone who is an addict of some kind, right? But they really want to stop being an addict. I think one of the things that holds us back is when we begin to, associate ourselves with the things we do, what I mean by that are the negative things in specific. Someone who is an addict, I think, and this may be a controversial idea, I don't know, but in my head, someone who is an addict, we say that person is an addict. We give them the label of an addict. But I think if that individual is in a state of trying to leave their addiction, the addiction is not them. They're not the addiction. It's not who they are. It's more so how they are. And I think, the state of how you are is a more temporary, fleeting state. It's a state that you want to leave, a state that can sometimes, be a nuisance to you of some kind. Even when it comes to good things, I think in order to say that something is who you are a version of yourself because of something, I think it's about habituation. How often you do something, I think more so determines who you are. How you are is a different question. And I say all this and I make this distinction because I think, again, when negative things happen to us, or when we're deep in the trenches of something negative, we can often associate ourselves with that negativity. And I say that really for the people who are trying to leave their negativity. It's one thing if you embrace the bad things you're doing in your life, maybe you can then say those bad things make up who you are. But I think if there are bad things going on in your life and you were trying to leave those bad things, then those bad things are not who you are. Again, it's how you are. It's how you are in the time period right now. And I think this mindset is very useful. For me, someone who struggles with a multiplicity of things, or a decent amount of things, I should say, I often look at my problems and I'm like, oh man, this bad thing is happening and that's who I am. But what that does, it just feeds more and more into that negative mindset. What I found that's helped me is when I make a distinction between myself and the negative thing. It kind of like, the way I think of it in my head is, imagine being in like a box or a cell of some kind, right? If you're gonna look at the negative thing as who you are, it's kind of like you in the box or you in the cell. How you are could be viewed as, there's the cell, there's the box, and then there's you. You can be in the cell or the box, but you don't necessarily have to, you know what I mean? I don't even know if that made much sense to y'all, but hopefully it does. In my head, it makes sense at least. I think another thing that, oftentimes goes untalked about when it comes to who you are as a person, I think your potential has a lot to do with it too. Oftentimes, we think that a person is not a certain version of themselves if they have not lived up to that potential. But I think the very potential you have does make up who you are. I mean, think of a seed, for example, right? A seed is not necessarily a plant while it's a seed, but because it has the ability to be a plant, we strongly associate seeds with plants because we know what it can become. In a similar way, in a more, hopefully more positive way, try and think of yourself in terms of who you can be. Not just who you want to be, but who you literally can be. Well, I guess who you want to be and who you can be, who you're striving to become. Sit down and visualize in your head that you are that person. Live as if you are that future version of yourself that you're trying to become. What this does, I think, is further instills that positivity in us of who we are associating ourselves with in a more positive connotation. And kind of getting rid of that more negative connotation if you've been doing that in your life. So yeah, man, this video is not to be super long. I just wanted to bring that point up. No matter what it is that you're going through, man, and if you have associated yourself with the negativity, think of it as, it's not who you are, it's more so how you are. I'll see you on the next one.